Hello, this is Danny from the DM Art Classes and welcome back to part 6. First off, I would like to apologize for the wait for this final part as my iPad died, but now it has been fixed and we're ready to go again. Also, I would like to say thank you for all the positive feedback on the previous tutorials. It's been incredibly motivating to make these and I've been very excited to get back. So, let's get to it. Okay, so we're going to start with layers. Layers is something I tend to use a lot when I'm getting towards the end of a sculpt. For example, I've been making a character's face and I wanted to add some final details. Wrinkles under the eyes, spots and things like this, but I'm not ready to commit to those details. They're kind of similar to Photoshop in a way, apart from it's in 3D space. So I'll just give you a really rough example here. So we'll come up to the top here, press layers, add layer. Now I can use the clay brush, everything you do being stored in that layer that you have opened. Now if we go here, now, so I've sculpted these details and I feel, oof, it's a bit too heavy or something like this and I want to move it back a little bit. I can decrease it slightly or I can just switch it off completely. Layers can also be used for when you are moving an object or morphing the object into different shapes and also with painting as well. So now we have our little bit of detail here in the clay. We can add another layer, use the move tool, pull out like this, and then we decide that that's too much. We can adjust it like this as well. And you can go into each individual layer and have complete control on this. It's a very nice non-destructive workflow, perfect for when you're experimenting with different ideas and you don't want to commit that detail to the mesh. I'd highly recommend it. Here we'll add another layer, use paint, put some paint here. I'm just going to show you with another layer as well. Come down here, select a different color. Let's add some paint here. So for example, there we go. And because these are layers, you can move this one beneath the other, and you see, above, etc. You can organize your layers. There's also as well, let's just remove these for one moment. So I've added a new layer here, and if I wanted to add sculpt details and color as well, for example like this, just so you know, you go to your brush, stroke painting, enable this. If this is disabled, you just add sculpt details. If you enable it, it's sculpt details with color. Now we can go back into the layers here. You see, you can adjust this. But if you wanted to keep the sculpt details but you didn't like the color, you just click these 3 dots here and you move the color down. Or if you wanted the color and you didn't want the sculpt details, you move the position down. Very useful. Really useful tool. I recommend you go in and experiment with this. Now, there is one other thing I wanted to mention while we're here that I do come across when I've been sculpting before. So if I have my crease here, let's add a new layer. So I'll add some details, say if it's on like this. So I've added some sculpt details in there. It's on my layer. But I wish it was more strong, the details. What you can do is you can come in here and press duplicate. And you can intensify it. You can merge them together if you choose by pressing this button here. Boom. And if you're like, oh, it's still not strong enough, the detail, you can do it again. Duplicate it. Merge it down. There you go. Like this. And just a quick rundown. The eye icon is to hide that layer. This icon is to move it up and down so you can organize your layer. The pen tool is so you can rename the layer. The wastebasket is so you can remove it. This is for duplicate, this is for merge, and then you've got your channel factors here. Okay, now we're going to move on to the Boolean operations. So if we have our sphere here, let's add another object to the scene, for example a cube. Click the outer ring to scale down, this arrow to move across. So this is a really useful tool. I recommend get used to using it because it'll do you a whole load of favors. So if I wanted to cut this cube out of this sphere, what I would do is I'll select both, and then you use these eye icons. So if I have my sphere eye hidden, it'll cut, that sphere shape will be cut directly from the cube there. Now you have to press voxel merge for this operation to happen. The resolution, if you have it set down low, I will give you an example. As you can see, it's low resolution cut, but you see how the sphere has been cut from there. 2-finger tap to undo. Now let's go back. Let's put the voxel resolution up. Press OK. And that's a lot better. Now, if we do the other direction, we want to cut that cube out of the sphere. We'll hide the eye icon, press voxel merge, press OK, and there we go. Nice clean cut. 2-finger tap to undo. Now we can also get the difference between the two objects by hiding both of the icons. Oh, sorry, just make sure that's selected. If you hide both of the objects, you will get the intersection part. We'll come here, voxel merge, press OK, and there we go. We have the intersecting points. This is great for hard surface. If I add let's add a cone in here, rotate the cone by pressing this ring here. If I wanted to just cut the cone out of this object here. Oh, press validate. Put the resolution up so it's a nice clean cut. Hide the cone. Press voxel merge. There we go. It's a nice clean cut. Very useful. And now I'm going to do a quick rundown of the Symmetry menu. So as we see here, we've got two objects in the scene. When we open up the Symmetry menu, you will see that it is set on local, and this yellow plane, which is cut down, is where your symmetry is. If you press on world, so let's select this object for example, that's the local symmetry of that object. If we go on world, this is the world symmetry. Now, one useful thing that we can always do, if I have an object here and I've been sculpting and I realize that I didn't have my symmetry on, or I would like to mirror the details that I've worked on onto the opposite side of that object, I would then go into the symmetry here, press local because I want that symmetry to be local to the object, press mirror, and then that will weld that to the object. Nice and easy. Also as well, if you would like, let me sculpt some details here, and you want these details onto the opposite side, it's easy. You just enable the flip direction, press mirror, just like that. Also as well, you can set the direction of your mirror here as well. So here we go. Oh, etc. You can experiment with that. Now, another example is if I have this cube here and I want to mirror it onto the world origin here. This mirror, there we go, just like that. Nice and easy. And you have some extra options down here to show plane. When you enable that, the plane is active, or the show line, and you will have a line instead. Now this is really useful if you're in an object and you want to adjust your mirror. You can use this gizmo tool here, and you can go in there and choose exactly how you want it mirrored. So for example, if I have it like this, I'll go to my clay here, let's just deselect this, and it's going to be mirrored like this. And there you go. That's how you can use the Symmetry menu. And now you have a basic knowledge of the interface of Nomad Sculpt. In the next videos, we're going to be going ahead and doing sculpt along classes. Again, thank you so much for all the positive feedback. Please feel free to like and subscribe. I will be releasing videos a lot more frequently now that my iPad is fixed, and I will see you soon. Thank you. Goodbye.